Ugh. Fuck.
No, keep it just like that. Yes. Yeah.
You only made it
Oh,
worse.
Matt, please go back to it.
Go back to what?
Go back to your Super Saiyan hair. Gentlemen, we are reconvening once again, as is our yearly tradition, to talk about the game of the year. On this last year, where we all played a ton of video games and
Yep.
nothing else happened this past year.
Yeah. Nothing.
We
at
all had tons of time to play video games.
We all hung out in person a lot.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So this is going to be one of the scarcest game of the years I think we're ever going to end up doing, both because not only was there a couple things that happened, but a lot of us didn't get around to playing that many games. Even by my own psychotic standards, I only clocked in a few games, still more than everyone else, but not.
Jason has that My Chemical Romance album.
I like the new Fuzzy Jason.
Me too.
But starting off with our normal kind of technical ass categories, we are going to be talking about the best visuals of the year. This one I think
What do you look at?
being them looky looks. This one being I think particularly good this year because we got new consoles this year, which applies.
Yeah, so
to
everyone has to show off.
3 of us. But Ryan, kicking it off, what do you think is the third best looking game of the 2020?
For me, that is gonna be Kentucky Route Zero. I think.
All these years of build-up, you can finally talk about Kentucky Route Zero.
Oh, I know. Well, I mean, I've been able to sort of talk about it a little bit every year.
Old generation of build-up.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it just has really striking visuals, all the stuff in there. It really plays into a lot of its like magical realism along with the Americana aspect. And I don't know, it just looks really, really cool. And I think that's what initially made me gravitate towards the game, was just how it looked. And it still looks good after 7-8 years of development.
Yeah, I feel like it from what little I've played of that game, it really does go a long way. And I think with a lot of those 2D narrative-driven games, it really gives a lot of room to flex the visual muscles, and I really think it nails it. I think it's a good-looking game.
That's mine.
Well, so most years I go ahead and do a pixel art, I do a stylized, and then I do a realistic graphics. However,
how rankings work.
This particular, and well, then I still order them and stuff, but then
our categories are smaller this year because we played so few games, so it's hard to have a lot of that wiggle room in there as well.
And that being said, with the release of new consoles, I actually have 3 realistic games for I think the first time ever in doing these. But that being said, my number 3 game is not a game that I played on the PlayStation 5. It's one of the last games I played on the PlayStation 4, and it is the Final Fantasy VII Remake. It is a dig-dang, beautiful-looking game, and I am baffled that they were able to squeeze that much juice out of a PlayStation 4 to make that game look as good as it does and to run as good as it does, despite looking like that. Absolutely gorgeous game. I think it does a really well realized look of those blocky ass PS1 models. And I think that game is drop dead fucking gorgeous. And again, I am baffled that game looks as good as it does on a PlayStation 4. I think Hunter is the only other person here who played it.
Well,
I watched the trailer.
But yeah, it just looks good.
I thought about it.
That game that's been a million years coming. That game that was going to come out on the PS2 and then come out on the PS3 and then finally comes out on the PS4 in one chunk. Good looking game.
Don't worry, the rest of it will be on the PS5 and 6.
I think it's generous that you think that game's coming out on the PS5.
No, I said one part.
One part.
Yeah,
Final Fantasy
2.
VII Remake is my number 3. So I will pass it over to Matt to hear about his number 3 best looking game.
What
So my
Snowy
number
Mountain
3
games came out this year?
You know, not a ton. But my number 3 is actually a game that I didn't play a ton of, but I thought that it looked really good. And that's Maneater. I played, I don't know,
Oh,
an hour of it. Yes, thank you, Hunter.
Man,
You're
you got
Maneater.
through,
She only
you got
comes out
through
at
an hour
night.
of that game.
What now?
You got through an hour of that game.
I don't know. I played a little bit past the end of the tutorial.
I didn't even realize that it came out this year.
Yeah, yeah. It's
No,
it's a
you
new
realize it
game.
didn't come out on
For
the
2020.
PS2.
That dude getting his arm bit off is it's good looking stuff.
Like I yeah, I don't have a whole lot to say. I needed to fill out this category just minutes ago. So
Now that I
anyways,
know that came out in 2020, I gotta go update my number 1 Goaty spot.
Big shark gonna get you.
Hearing about that game made me watch like half an hour of the Jaws PS2 gameplay.
Yeah.
Same thing. Same game.
I like Maneater. It is
It's
a PS2
stupid.
ass game.
It's stupid, but it's fun, and I like the way that it looks. But I'm a sucker for water.
Yeah, but
Great.
do you bite an orca in half at the end of the first level?
You bite a fat guy in
do.
half.
Well, that's close enough, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Anyways, your turn, Jason.
Yeah, Jason,
Let
let's
me.
hear about some shark
once
games.
yeah.
My best looking shark game of 2020
Sorry, I'm being Kurt Russell over here.
was Do Maternal.
Looking
I
game.
mean, it looks like Doom 2016 with, I don't know, tiny bit better graphics, and they both are very good looking.
It also just has a really cool like art style. Like they really lean hard into the gothic and metal and all that influence. It looks every level and area in that game looks like a metal album cover.
Yeah, like I like the way that
There's-
the Sentinel stuff looks. I like the way the Angels look. I think that the aesthetic of that game is unbelievably amazing.
Yep, and there's not many games that have better ripping or tearing.
Yeah, the animations for the glory kills are great in this one.
Yeah, I think that game has a really good look to it, and he's got a cool space castle.
Which is unnecessarily large.
Base
Yeah, kinda.
I mean, do you want a small space castle?
For a place where nothing happens, at least as far as I am in the game.
He needs all that castle to hold all his monitors.
Yeah. All of his
Blizzards?
posters.
Where else? Yeah, where else is he gonna put the posters of in-game soundtracks?
Hunter, what is your number 3 best looking game?
Well, this year I went with a pixel stylistic and realistic thing, and I
Shop in
gave
my bed.
I gave
Not a
the
copycat over
pixel
here.
game to the only pixel game I played this year, which is Carrion.
Oh, Carrion actually does look really dope.
Yeah. It's got good gibbing or
Mhm.
Yeah.
squibbing or whatever they call it.
Like
Jizz.
I'm glad it looks good because, like I said, it's the only pixel game I played this year, so it was gonna get it regardless.
Yeah, I think Carrion's got a really good look to it. I think that a lot of things about Carrion are really dope. Visuals are impeccable though.
Mhm.
Like I remember the first time I like saw an ad for it. It was kind of like that thing of when you first saw like Cuphead in a sizzle reel, where you're kind of just like, wait a minute, what is that game?
Yeah, wait,
Go
hold
back
on.
to that.
Especially because I think a part of it that even up until the point I played it, I like couldn't quite wrap my head around how doing like being the enemy in a game works, along with like being like a Metroidvania.
Did they
I
add
get
a
it
map
now.
to it?
No, you don't need it though.
Yeah, it's pretty linear. Well, Ryan, what is your
Oh, it's
number
me.
2 game?
My number 2 is gonna be Hades.
hmm
I think it just has a really good. It does the super giant thing.
Yeah.
Of just kind of really nice hand drawn stuff. Everything looks really nice. Everything's well animated. Really charming. So it's some like Western ass anime looking stuff, and it looks good.
Yeah, like it definitely has its own look, even compared to the Supergiant catalog kind of at large. Like I feel like their
Mhm.
games all have that look, but none of them look quite the same as each other. I like all their designs on the different gods. Like that's much like I don't know, much like kind of in God of War, where I just kind of like to see what the interpretation of the god is. I think that they all look really cool. I think like Chaos looks unbelievably dope.
I don't think I've seen Chaos yet.
Oh, it's a cool look.
Aphrodite's naked.
Aphrodite's buck ass naked.
Seen that.
Everyone is unbelievably hot, and I like that.
Well, they better be
including
hot
the
there.
player.
Yeah. Yeah. Hades
Not the
is a-
main character, the person playing the game.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Ooh.
Go off, King.
great look on Hades. My number 2 game is probably, strictly speaking, the best like kind of realistic style graphics I've ever seen in a game.
Watch Dogs.
It is Assassin's Creed Valhalla. It looks fucking remarkable. I am in absolute awe at how good that game looks and how well it runs on at least on PS5 at least. Every single piece of it looks gorgeous. It's the only time I have ever engaged with a photo mode in a game, just because I don't know. I mean, obviously it is designed this way, but so much of it is just I am walking around and then I'm in a perfect like vista portrait, and I have to snag some pictures of it. A lot of the stuff they do with the Aurora Borealis in the early snowy parts of it, it's got the best snowy mountains of the year, I've got to say.
Aurora Borealis
This
localized
part of the
here
game.
entirely in this PS5.
No, I said Steam Templars.
But it's fantastic. Like before, I would say that Red Dead Redemption 2 is probably the best looking game I've ever seen, but Valhalla I think is not only standalone better looking than it, but it runs at a blisteringly smooth frame rate, which is rad as fuck. It's one of those ones where I had to like pull my dad over and just boot it up and be like, just fucking look at this game. It's incredible visually.
He was like, "Yep, that sure looks like outside.
Yep.
Can I go home now?"
I mean, it's got some. Then you can go and do some brutal Viking shit.
Can't believe you paid $60 to look out a window.
Hey, I would never pay $60 for an Ubisoft game.
Sorry, $40.
There we go.
I can't believe you paid $59.99.
Matt,
Plus
pass off to
tax.
you. What is your number 2 best looking game?
So my number 2 best looking Snowy Mountain game of this year is Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I don't
There's
think
no
there's any
snowy
snowy
mountains.
mountains.
What is
Prove
a
it.
building but a mountain?
Right.
Spider-Man
It's-
Miles.
Guess
it
what happens
snows-
in wintertime?
It snows in New York.
Yeah.
It
Prove
snows
it.
while you play the game because it's Christmas time.
Miles Morales being one of the very few Christmas games that exist.
Yeah.
Can't believe
Christmas.
That and
Miles
Elf Bowling.
killed Santa.
Yeah.
Elf Bowling and Dead Rising 4.
Yeah,
Santa's
just the city. The city looks great. I really like the venom effects when it's around those
Oh, yeah.
piles and the enemies, like the way the electricity works, and I think it looks really fucking good. I
Like,
really enjoyed it.
It's real pretty.
That game has that advantage of being a game that was like clearly designed to show off their new console, and they really
Right,
do a
and
lot
it
of particle
works.
effects with it, and it looks so good.
It looks so
You can
good.
swing so fast, it'll load so fast.
Ugh.
I love all the suit designs. Like I know that there aren't as many suits as in the previous Spider-Man, but
Listen, if
I
you're
I
not
like
wearing
the cat
Tim's,
pack.
if you're not wearing Tim's for the whole game, dead ass, you're playing it wrong.
Is there actually an outfit with Tim?
yes,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's my
Oh,
favorite one.
sweet.
Dead
and
ass.
they also have. He actually wears Adidas like brand sneakers.
He does.
Like it has real clothing for him to wear.
I'm stuck between the one with Tim's and the one with the Stussy on the sleeve.
Yo, so I go Stussy.
If I could have both, if I
Yeah.
could have Stussy plus Tim's, I could
Be too
die.
powerful.
But yeah, Miles Morales looks
Happy gamer.
goddamn gorgeous. I know that that's on PS4, and I'm not sure how good that looks in comparison. I know that they also just added the 60 FPS ray tracing mode to it,
I
but
have not booted it up
Ray
since.
After,
tracing.
after we all finished the game.
yeah,
Yeah.
which was kind of a bummer. But
I
oh well.
I played it in graphics mode and not performance mode, so I
Bad man.
really
Played it
I
in-
really enjoyed the ray tracing the whole time.
I
But
played it a
also
little
the
bit of
monitor
both.
I used would not have done 60 FPS anyway. I don't think.
I
So
thought his name
He's
was
got a
Miles
15
Morales.
hertz monitor.
I do. Yeah.
Can run
Um,
Hobbit at the speed it was meant to be played at.
All right, Jason, what's your favorite Spider-Man game of
Buttery
the year?
smooth.
My favorite visually Spider-Man game of the year was Ghost of Tsushima.
Mm-hmm.
Good looking
Tsushima's a
game.
really good
I
looking
just
game.
think it's
Yep.
pretty. I just think the environments are good looking. All of the areas that you go around are cool.
I still
But I
really
just
want
think
to play
it's-
that game.
I just think it's good, just good quality visuals, nothing crazy.
Yeah, Ghost of Tsushima, good looking game.
Yeah. That was my
Huh.
number 2, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
That's
Yeah.
also what I put for the realistic quote.
So now Hunter
unquote.
can say even more about it.
I mean, the
Yeah, what's
only
your
thing-
favorite part to look at?
My favorite part is how it the last area of the game just kind of shits itself with the visual department because it's just snow.
Say snow and mountains, baby. But how
I mean, the
good
part
is
that
that
sticks out the most to me in like stuff like Red Dead is that first opening segment where you're like trudging through the snow. That's the trudging sign.
I really
Yeah,
like
but
the part
Tsushima
where you,
doesn't have realistic horse balls, so
Yeah, I do like
Bullshit.
how they, since they use like the wind to guide you throughout the level. I
looks
think
so
they do
good.
a really good job of showing the direction that the wind is gusting so you can follow it.
Oh, that's cool.
they just went and released like a 20-minute video kind of talking about a lot of the underlying tech and the visuals, and it's pretty fucking dope. I really like when you're getting to like the second part of the island and it's just all burned to fuck. I think that was a really, really good shot.
Very foggy. Foggy
Ryan?
and
Or
smoky.
smoky.
Ryan, what is your number one? What is your best looking game?
Yeah,
of this
so
past year?
I've gone on record in the past saying I like things that look like things, and they do a good job of looking like stuff.
no.
Yeah.
Oh, here we
So
go.
Paper Mario and the Origami King.
Yep,
It looks
good
like
fucking
paper.
game. Good
It
fucking
looks
looking
like
game.
paper, looks like origami, looks like dioramas. Every time a Paper Mario comes out,
I don't play it.
I like the way it looks.
Genuinely forgot that game came
I
out.
will talk shit on those games in the gameplay department and how they're not what I want them to be anymore. But
And
I'm not
I'll
going to
be
sit here
I'll be a
and say they
Paper
don't
Mario
fucking
apologist this whole
beautiful,
time because I love them.
goddamn gorgeous games.
Yeah, it looks amazing. And this one really utilizes a lot of, I mean, the Switch isn't the most powerful system, but they were already good looking games that now they're utilizing HD Switch power that just, it makes it look crazy good.
Use that Nintendo magic.
Yep. Good shit. So number one, Paper Mario Origami King.
So my number one is a game that is definitely like more realistic visuals, but it is a tad stylized. And that pushes it over the edge over Assassin's Creed, in my opinion. But my number one is Ghost of Tsushima. As much as I like
Ryan's so
Assassin's
mad.
Creed Valhalla, Ghost of Tsushima from like moment one, seeing some of those fields of grass, seeing some of those fields of flowers, and all of the particle effects they have, like during the later stages with the tree with the red leaves. It's beautiful. It is absolutely remarkable.
It's
And
definitely a very immersive game.
I realize
Sucks
it
you in
didn't
the whole time.
it didn't run quite this well on base PS4, but playing it on PS5, getting it at 4K 60 the entire time, it is gorgeous, and it is the game that, like, more than any of the others, made me happy about upgrading the console, because the idea that I would have played this game and have it looking anything less than this would be a disappointment to me. I thought it
still
was,
looks pretty good on a base PS4.
yeah, that's the other thing I've heard, is that it still runs pretty well. But I loved the visuals in it. I just melted into that world. I wanted to see things just to see what everything looked like. And it has that advantage of, like, it's definitely a realistic graphics thing, but just has enough of the style to it that I think elevates it in an incredibly beneficial way.
It's a good looking game.
Ghost of Tsushima, best looking game of the year,
Some might say.
some might say. Matt, what would some say is the best looking game of 2020?
So what I would say is the best looking game of 2020 is Astro's Playroom.
I'm so glad someone had it on here.
It looks so fucking good.
Yeah.
It's adorable, but like it's cartoony, but kind of realistic at the same time. Like, in obviously different areas, like all the levels are very cartoony, and bright and colorful and shit. And then you get back to the main hub area and you see all the PlayStation, all the Sony parts and everything. And it's, supposed to look about as real as you could make it. And I just fucking love it.
And
I really want to play that game.
The general art direction of it, I think, is unbelievably cool. Like how the tight ropes are all like PS1 chords.
Yes.
They use all the ducks from the PS3 tech. Like the amount of stuff that is like a send up to the PlayStation in its history. Them using PSP UMDs as their boogie boards in the water
Yes.
levels.
Oh, it's so good.
Going through that game and like seeing how many things I could pick out as being like references was so much fun.
Yeah, I think that game just like, I mean, with a new console, doing a quick little pack-in thing like that is a great move.
Yeah.
Because like I booted it up, and then the first thing I did was played that game, and it just like made the day of getting the console way more fun than just setting up a new console and not having like a brand new game to play.
It's like Wii Sports.
Yeah.
Only
I'm not
Is
sure
it
if I'd go so far as to
pre-installed?
call. Yeah, pre-installed even.
Mhm.
Awesome.
The load times are like it's not as good of a show off of the load times I think Spider-Man is, but they're
No.
still crazy.
which is surprising to me that game can't load faster than
More
the
intense. than
entirety of New
Spider-Man
York, but
confirmed.
whatever.
So Jason, what is your number one?
My number one, I definitely went more with like I just think this game technically looks nicer, and I did Miles Morales.
Hmm.
I played it mostly in 60, but I did do a little bit of the ray tracing just to like look at myself in reflections a few times. And I think I played most of the first one in the higher def. But no, I think it did a really good realistic job of making a game look nice. And it was the first, I mean, other than Astro's Playroom, it was the first like actual or PS5 game I played on the console.
Yeah, because you did the PS4 Spider-Man like remaster up-res
Mhm.
thing with where they switch out the Peter.
Oh yeah.
Peter.
It's the only Peter I know.
Yeah, I think that game looks super good. I mean, I
They
also thought
switched
that,
Peter Parker for Peter Griffin.
I think PS4 Spidey also looked really, really good, but Miles Morales was
MJ.
remarkable. As it turns out, if you throw a lot of money at a first-party studio, they will make something pretty good. I eagerly anticipate Ratchet.
Oh, that looks so good.
I'm so excited. So Hunter, what,
Someone give me a
you-
PS5.
I've been
Oof.
trying to.
Dash will find
Link
you one,
link
just give
my
you $500.
Patreon in the in the video description.
If I get 500 patrons, I can do nothing all day. Isn't
Yeah.
that exciting?
So Hunter, rounding out the best visuals of the year, what do you think is the best looking game?
My best looking game is my choice for the stylistic kind of thing. And much like how Ryan likes Hades for the hand-drawn stuff, I like 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah. Do that Vanillaware bullshit.
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Vanillaware bullshit and giant robots. Give me that shit. I'll slurp it up, baby.
I kept meaning to ask if somebody had played, or
I want
specifically if
to.
Hunter had played it.
No.
No, but it looks good.
I was
It's-
going to play it over my isolation, what with the Rona and all, but I'm not supposed to leave my room as much as I can, and my PS4 is in the living room. So
Bummer.
Could have somebody cram it under the door.
I've heard exceedingly positive things about that, even from people who don't normally like Vanillaware, and I don't normally like Vanillaware, so I kind of want to fuck with it.
I've
Yeah.
wanted to play it since it was first announced 6 years ago. So
Took you long enough.
I liked Dragon's Crown and I liked the Odin Sphere remaster.
Yeah, it's like I don't really like those games that much, but they are beautiful. Well, that's going to do us for the best visuals of 2020. If you would like to join us next time, where we go over the best soundtracks of the year.
We're not using our eyes anymore, using our ear holes.
Oh, and does
Uh-huh.
anyone have any like since we've had a lot more time this time around? Does anyone just want to like shout out quickly some like honorable mentions? I don't know if anyone else.
I don't know if I had any honorable mentions.
I think that the Tony Hawk
I think-
remaster
Yeah, I
looked
thought
really,
Tony
really
Hawk
good.
looked really good.
Best use of Jack Black in a video game since Brutal Legend.
Hot Shots Racing looks
Oh
cool.
yeah, Hot Shots looks good.
oh yeah.
It's got that really nice kind of like
Low
what if
poly,
we
high
s-
frame rate.
Yeah, what if we sort of updated Daytona? USA, the racing game.
Warzone looks good.
And
Yeah, Warzone looks great for realistic stuff.
I think Crash 4 looks really nice.
Yeah, Crash 4's got a good look.
It's very like cartoony and nice, which I think the series needed. They needed to stop like trying to make Crash edgy. I thought it was really
He
weird. They kept giving
needs
him like
tribal tattoos.
yeah.
And shorts.
He's always had jorts.
When's
Well,
Crash gonna get Tim?
He needs the Bobby Hill short pants.
When he becomes Spider-Man.
Well, those are our best looking games of the year. Please join us next time where we will be going over the best soundtrack of
See you later.
I don't
like
get
because
it.
it's visuals.
Yeah.